Joe Metheny, having started searching for his wife who had run away with her son, began killing everyone he came across out of revenge. He did horrible things. He dismembered bodies, mixed meat with animal flesh, and made burger patties, treating customers of his cafe with them. When the police arrested Joe Metheny in December 1996, they thought he would resist and start a fight. This man, who weighed more than 200 kilograms, liked to swing his huge fists, so they expected him to fight back. In the end, Joe not only did not resist, but also openly spoke about his terrible crimes, summing up his confession with the phrase, "I am a very sick person." In his confession, Metheny told the police in detail how he brutally raped, killed, and dismembered homeless people and drug addicts in search of his runaway wife. The man was driven by an insatiable need for revenge. But the most terrible thing was what Joe did with the bodies of his victims to hide the traces of his crimes. Instead of the usual burials, the maniac dismembered the bodies, mixed the meat with pork, and made hamburger patties from the minced meat. Then Metheny sold them to unsuspecting customers at his roadside cafe. Before his arrest, Joe had been committing murders for 2 years. It all started when the man's wife ran away from him to her lover, taking their son with her. The maniac knew about her addiction to drugs and the places she frequented, and taking an axe, Metheny decided to go after them. He started from under the bridge, but Joe found not his wife there, but 2 homeless people, whom he immediately hacked to death. A fisherman sitting nearby noticed this, and he suffered the same fate. He did nothing with the bodies of the first 3 victims. He simply threw them into the river to hide the traces of the crime. Soon Joe was arrested on suspicion of murder, and the maniac spent a year and a half in prison awaiting trial. But in the end, he was acquitted. The prosecutor could not prove that it was Joe who killed the 2 men, since all traces were washed away by the river. Once free, Metheny resumed searching for his missing wife. His time in prison clearly had no effect on the maniac. Soon Joe killed 2 prostitutes. This time, he decided not to throw the bodies in the river, but came up with a better way to hide the traces of the crime. Metheny brought the bodies home and dismembered them, putting the meatiest parts in the freezer. The man took the other remains far away in his truck and buried them. Returning home, the killer mixed the meat of the victims with beef and pork. This mince became the filling for small pies molded by the maniac. He began selling them, setting up a barbecue stand on the side of the road. For several weeks, truckers and locals unwittingly destroyed traces of Metheny's crimes. After his arrest, Joe said that no one complained about the taste of the pies. It's just that human meat is very similar to pork, and if you mix it with animal meat, no one will notice the difference. Whenever the meat ran out, the maniac would go out on the street and kill a homeless person. According to Metheny, he killed 10 people. If the police had not arrested him, there would have been many more victims. Joe was finally caught in 1996. A potential victim of the maniac was able to escape and report him to the police. Metheny was found guilty and sentenced to death. In 2000, the decision was overturned, replacing it with 2 life sentences. In 2017, Joe was found dead in his cell. During interrogation, Metheny spoke in detail about his crimes. He even told the police how he hacked to death a fisherman witness during the first murder of 2 homeless people. It also turned out that Joe does not repent of anything, except for one thing. "The only thing I regret is that I did not finish off my ex-wife and her lover." After all, it was with their search that this whole series of crimes began. Then only revenge pushed me to kill, and then a passion for the taste of blood and an irresistible sense of power joined in. You experience it at the moment when you take a person's life. I had no explanation or justification for why I was doing it. I don't even know how to describe it. I just like doing such things. And I don't feel sorry for my victims at all. For this world, they're already dead. Metheny also gave advice to those who like to have a snack on the road. The next time you find a new diner on the road, carefully examine the meat they cook there. And before you eat a hamburger with it, you should make sure there is nothing extra in it.